Today we're going to start with the genesis or root of the cause that shed so much blood, both humans and dragons. I truly believe that this decision ended the Targaryen reign in Westeros. I'm going to keep this video primarily to two characters, Viserys and Princess Rhaenyra, to compact this video to make it nice and short. We will start with King Viserys. I'm going to say some unflattering things. We will start with some positive and good attributes of the fallen king. I think genuinely he's a good man, father, and a good husband, likely was a good son as well. I see why the old king selected him after his sons who should have ruled passed away. I think he's a guy that will be happy with his family and toys, really a child man who didn't really want to hurt anyone or get hurt himself. I also admired, he always wanted to keep the realm at peace. I believe that is an admirable goal. I also think he takes pride in being both fair and honorable. Next, we'll move on to Viserys, the hereditary Targaryen king, in short, who didn't act on things that mattered most or just didn't act at all. The great Niccolo Machiavelli wrote, "As a prince, you have to be present and aware to meet things head on, in the beginning to detect and cure them." The Romans dealt and addressed troubles at once. War is not to be avoided, only to be put off to the advantage of others. This is why they fought and humbled Philip in Greece, not allowing the fight to ever spill or touch Rome's soil. You see Lord Corlys reach out to the king several times with no action on behalf of the king, guidance, or assistance to remedy the issue. The Sea Snake was able to take over the Stepstones with his brother and Aemon, who should have never risked his life in that manner. This should have been avoided and squashed in its infancy. Keeping them shipping lanes were for the good of the realm and his people, who King Viserys should be protecting and providing for. Being a peaceful king is great, but cruelty and discipline must be handled down appropriately. Even young Rhaenyra wanted to go with Syrax. That would have been 3 dragons instead of 2, but Viserys just rejected this. He just wanted the situation to just go away. He didn't allow Rhaenyra to go get any military training or test herself in battle. King Aegon I put both of his sister wives at battle in the field or sky, but Viserys just wanted to marry off Rhaenyra.
Sentence you to die.
The Game of Thrones first season started with Ned Stark demonstrating duty to his kids, which were made to watch discipline at first hand. I love how Jon said, "Don't look away," to his little brother. Ned was preparing the boys to warden the North. So if something happened, which we all know it did, they would be ready to step up. In The Godfather, Don Vito was shot the second time. He was going to retire after making peace with the other 4 families and bringing his youngest son home, Michael, after they executed his son, Sonny, on the Long Beach Causeway. Even in retirement, he was close to Michael. There was a transition of power. The old captains Clemenza and Tessio wanted no parts of reporting to his young son. And they even said this open in public to the Don and everyone to hear. The Don calmed everything down enough for the transition to happen. "Do you trust me? Do you believe in me?" They both said, "Yes, Godfather." "Okay, then help my son." You see the screen with Michael and the Don talking. They're strategizing and planning. He's schooling Michael to be ready because he knows when he goes, they're going to move quickly against him. Don Vito said the captain that brings the peace offering was the traitor. I love how The Godfather added this scene at the funeral. I mean, they didn't even let this man bury his father and already planned his execution. Viserys did not do this with Rhaenyra. She did not get the Don's guidance or leadership, not only from a fatherly standpoint, but from a leadership protection standpoint. No instruction was given, no guidance. Rhaenyra is not exempt. She knew the Greens were moving politically against her father's wishes after Corlys's brother Vaemon, who wanted to control Driftmark after Corlys was ill. We all know what happened to Vaemon. What did Viserys honestly think was going to happen when he was gone? Again, failing to act or even plan at all. Rhaenyra should have been a fixture in King's Landing and had a seat on the council. Viserys was far too sick to rule at this time. She should have been acting king on his behalf. Viserys may have taught her some prophecy, but he never prepared her to rule. If she needed help, she has her father and Sir Otto, the best tenured advisors a prince can ever have. I really think she wanted to be in Dragonstone and should have stayed in Dragonstone. Robert Greene wrote Law 18, "Do not build forests to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. If you retreat to a forest in case Rhaenyra retreating to the island King's Landing, you will lose contact with the realm and lose control of your position. You will lose contacts and sources of power and cut yourself off of knowledge in which your life will depend on. Never enclose yourself from the streets where you cannot hear what's going on or around you, including plots against you." Viserys didn't think of his second family like he did his first. A lot of this has to do with losing his wife and his firstborn son. You don't lose someone like that and stay the same. When he finally got his son with his second wife, he named the child Aegon after the great conqueror. He made his choice in succession. Everyone in the realm knew this to be true. Aegon will be king. I find this very strange. Not only was he a bad king, Viserys was old and stubborn in his thinking. I'm king, nobody can make me change the succession, so I won't. But in this, he didn't do Rhaenyra any favors at all. I'm a child who had a father who had two families, and his first family was separate from his second. So I have some understanding on how much the impact of a mother-wife has on the kids and on the man, the father himself. I was a 90s kid. Most of my friends growing up had split homes. It was nothing out of the ordinary for them not to know their other father's children. My only reason for sharing this is because I don't blame Rhaenyra for not being close with her other siblings, or her siblings not being close with her. Her father did marry, out of all people, her best friend. However, she knew that they lived in the Red Keep their whole life. Why would you uproot them like that? Aegon had random children and legit heirs with his sister Helaena in King's Landing. That is their home. After her father dies, was she going to pack them up, send them to Dragonstone, send them to Old Town? It doesn't make sense. Viserys made that young Hightower girl his own. She didn't just breed him and push out a son, she gave him two and a daughter. She should have been good for the rest of her life. Why leave her like that? I think he was a bastard for doing that. Rhaenyra should be queen of Dragonstone, her rightful place. After the king died, Alicent, not her father Otto, should have went to Dragonstone and made peace. No threats, no male machismo, no kidnapping children. Two women can work out these details. Yes, Westeros, I know that this is frowned on, but the blacks didn't attack the Greens. This isn't a Greyjoy Bolton Stark situation. Alicent and Rhaenyra could have a meeting, broke bread. She would have had to share some of them gold coins, but this all could have been accomplished without no bloodshed. As long as the mothers lived, them boys would have never attacked each other or started a coup. They would have never challenged their mothers like that. We all got a chance to watch Rhaenyra and Alicent grow up. She never wanted the throne, she never wanted to rule. My understanding is she wanted to service the realm, but not as a wife of some small or lesser house. She would rather be a warrior. She would rather have more freedom, like most teens. Thank you all for joining. My next video will go over why Rhaenyra will lose the war. God bless.